Good morning. It is the 13th of March and I am preparing to depart Kongo, a medium-sized town in Angola, about 40 miles, so about 65 kilometers from the DRC border. I arrived here 3 nights ago after an eventful border crossing, which started, of course, on the DRC side. The immigration officer there couldn't find the entry stamp. He asked me to locate it, and I couldn't find it either. That was very frustrating because I was very close to the process when I arrived to Kinshasa as immigration was processing my visa. Now, I didn't have eyes on the officer when they reached for the stamper, but I was not far away. As all that implies, I did not confirm before I departed DRC immigration in Kinshasa, and so I had a big problem when I tried to depart the country. And then they made the situation worse by questioning my $180 DRC visa. This led to many more visits with many more people at that space and a lot more waiting than was otherwise necessary. But I think the biggest part of the story, and it's a positive one, involves the sisters from Kinshasa. Recall, I've been spending a lot of time with them. I called my friend Euphrasie, the head sister in the DRC, and told her what was happening, and she offered to talk to immigration, and so I put her on the phone with the officers that were close by, and she spoke to them for at least 15 minutes, and the conclusion was they believed my story, fortunately, and then they began to process my exit stamp, which they managed to do in a total of about 3 hours. So that's some of the border story. Though let me add, the Angola side was the complete opposite. Very smooth, very kind. Now, the DRC side, they weren't necessarily unkind, though questioning the visa they put in my passport, that wasn't very nice, but still, they weren't necessarily difficult despite that step in that direction. But back to Angola, they were very kind and easy, and I was through that space in less than half an hour. Then I rode into Angola, and a few miles later, my left shifter stopped communicating with the derailleur. I have an AXS system from SRAM. It is Rival and GX. It's a mountain bike, gravel bike combination of components. The shifters communicate with the derailleur by Bluetooth. So there's batteries in the shifters and there's a battery in the derailleur as well. The left shifter was no longer communicating with the derailleur. On the road, I didn't know what the problem was. Fast forward, I spent a few hours that night. By then I was in this town and in this guest house, and I did resolve the problem, I hope, by repairing. But on the road, I didn't know what the issue was. I managed to overcome it by switching the right shifter manually using the app in my phone to shift up and also down. So I would shift down and pedal, and then I would press a few options on my phone screen, which I had mounted on the handlebars, part of the SRAM app system, and I would then be able to shift up the cassette. So up and down the cassette using one shifter. That got me 20 more miles, but by then it was raining and I was wiping the phone every few seconds with a towel that I had stuffed in my jersey. The roads degraded to dirt at times and I was filthy and it became dark. And so that's more of the story of my arrival to the first town in Angola where I spent the night. So those are the highlights. I am going to make my way out of this hotel. It's a lovely garden. Actually, it's not a hotel, it's a guest house. It's really ideal because I can move my bike easily to the room. There's no hallways and stairwells, etc. And you can see this lovely garden. It's far from the road. At least there's many walls and structures in between, so I can hear it, but only a little bit. The man who checked me in was also very kind. I asked and he provided some items so I could wash the bike, a bucket and soap in particular, because I didn't want to bring the bike into the room the way it was. By the time I had the bike washed and I showered and ate something, it was about 10 o'clock. And at that juncture, I was already working on trying to figure out what went wrong with the drivetrain, which I determined was the left shifter was no longer paired to the derailleur. And once I figured out how to fix that problem, I have shifting again from both shifters, left and right. So the left one goes up and the right one goes down. And so we're good to go today. Well, that's a long report from Kongo. I'm gonna hop on the bike and begin to make my way in the direction of Luanda.